I'm really hoping that this isn't blurry. Just trying to get the right height. We're working with it. It was zoomed in a lot. Guys, I'm really good at this. Oh, baby, we're rolling. Hey guys, welcome. We are going to be talking about the ketogenic diet today. Now, full disclaimer before I start, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and I do advise you to seek help from a professional dietitian or nutritionist if you are making changes to your diet and lifestyle. The ketogenic diet is characterized by a diet high in fat, moderate protein, and low in carbohydrates. Now, normally, when we're consuming a regular diet full of carbs, fats, and proteins, we actually consume enough carbohydrates that our main fuel source comes from a molecule called glucose. Wow! Now, glucose is a molecule that gets broken down from carbohydrates in our body. When we're on a ketogenic diet, we are not consuming enough carbohydrates to get this glucose as our primary fuel source. So we have to use fats as our primary fuel source. Now, how do we do this? We go into a metabolic state called ketogenesis. And what ketogenesis does is it actually breaks our fats down into molecules called ketone bodies. And ketone bodies can be used as energy to fuel our cells. So this is the replacement for glucose on a ketogenic diet. The history of the keto diet, it actually originally started to treat epilepsy in young children. And there's a lot of promising research to show that the ketogenic high fat, low carb style diet helps with neurological disorders. It has also been used to treat Parkinson's, MS, and Alzheimer's. There's additional promising research to show that the ketogenic diet can help in treating type 2 diabetes. It helps to lessen insulin resistance, and it also can lower blood sugar. Now, I think it's wonderful that these neurological disorders have a diet that fits with them and that helps lessen the symptoms. But today, I want to speak about the ketogenic diet in regards to weight loss and using it more as a fad diet. Let's talk about the pros of this diet and potentially why it can work for you. The first one is that fats are very satisfying, and fats tend to lower our levels of ghrelin, so we actually feel less hungry and more satisfied when we are eating fat sources with our meals. Appetite stimulating hormones like insulin and ghrelin are often decreased on the ketogenic diet, and this leads to a lower appetite, and we tend to eat fewer calories. Another positive is that people have reported experiencing better mental clarity on the ketogenic diet as they would with intermittent fasting. Now, if we're talking about keto for weight loss, I want to point out a few things. First of all, this diet cuts out an entire macronutrient group. When you do this, you have fewer options, and often you will lose weight just for that fact. Another major factor with this rapid weight loss is that in our body, we store glucose, which is the carbohydrate fuel source, as glycogen. And glycogen is tied to water molecules. So when you stop eating carbohydrates, you will deplete your glycogen stores, and with that, you will deplete the water molecules that are attached to the glycogen stores. So people often experience a rapid weight loss, but a lot of that initial weight loss is water weight. Today, I want to lay out as much information as possible. We're going to go over the side effects of the ketogenic diet, and it kind of feels like one of those commercials that lays out a product, like birth control often does this, and then it has like a list of 50 different side effects.
Stop taking Atelvia and tell your doctor if you experience difficult or painful swallowing, chest pain, or severe or continuing heartburn, which may be signs of serious...
So that's kind of how this is going to start to sound. The ketogenic diet is not exactly the most maintainable diet. There actually aren't a lot of studies in the long term for the ketogenic diet. A lot of the information that I'm giving you today is based off of long-term studies on low carb, high fat diets. The ketogenic diet is quite hard to stick with. And this is why one of the most common Google searches is, can I cheat on keto? The other part of this is that with the ketogenic diet, you have to go through an adaptation period, which is actually coined the keto keto flu. And the keto flu includes symptoms like headache, nausea, fatigue, brain fog, muscle weakness, bad breath, moodiness, and more. Every time you fall out of ketogenesis by eating too many carbs, you have to go through the adaptation period all over again. Con number 2. Carbohydrates supply us with sugars and starches, but they also supply us with fiber. And fiber is a major component in pooping and keeping our cells regular. When we cut out carbs, we're looking at cutting out starchy vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and a lot of the foods that supply us with the fiber we need to keep everything flowing. To successfully do the ketogenic diet, people often have to use fiber supplements. When you're consuming a high amount of protein and fat on this diet, we're at higher risk of overdoing it on saturated fats. So we're consuming foods like cheeses, oils, butters, fatty meats, and these foods put you at a higher risk for cardiovascular disease, as well as decreased gut health and increased blood pressure. Number 4 is nutrient deficiencies. Humans have essential nutrients that they need to be consuming in their diet. So when you are cutting out an entire macronutrient, you do cut out a lot of sources for these nutrients. For example, B vitamins are commonly found in grains. And when you're on the ketogenic diet, you are not consuming enough grains to be getting essential B vitamins. The ketogenic diet can also put you at risk for deficiencies of vitamin D, calcium, and minerals like chloride and potassium. If you insist on doing the ketogenic diet, I recommend going and getting blood work done before and during, and also speaking to your doctor ahead of time in case you are at risk for deficiencies in any of these areas already. Number 5 is muscle loss. The ketogenic diet is a form of fasting, and with fasting comes fat loss, but it also comes with muscle loss. Carbohydrates induce an insulin response, which helps proteins get into our muscle fiber so that they can grow. When we're not consuming carbohydrates, this process happens less frequently, and therefore our muscles decrease a little bit. Additionally, people tend to experience lower energy levels in the gym on a ketogenic diet, and this is often associated with the fact that they don't have this quick release energy that they would from carbohydrates. Fats take longer to break down into ketones, so they provide a slower, prolonged energy source. Number 6, the ketogenic diet encourages disordered eating. Now, the ketogenic diet is a fad diet. It's not something that is meant to be sustained in the long term, and any diet that cuts out an entire macronutrient is a red flag. This diet does not encourage intuitive eating and listening to your body. It also causes anxiety in social situations. Have you ever been on a diet and gone to a restaurant and been stressed the whole time? Instead of being present and enjoying your time with friends, you're worried about what can I order on this menu that won't go over my macros? Or what can I order that won't make me bloated? These are anxious thoughts induced by fad diets, and the ketogenic diet is a perfect example of a diet that will do this to you. Definitely think about how this will work with your lifestyle. Is it something that you can work with and that's going to complement your social life, or is it something that's going to cause you more stress than good? That's all the information I have on the ketogenic diet for you guys today. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me at Kelly_Bateson or Health Happy Foodie on Instagram, and leave a comment below, like, subscribe. Feels so weird saying that. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Ultimately, you guys are the guardians of your own body, and I just want to give you as much information as possible so that you can go forward and make the healthiest decision for you. Bye.